Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In this video today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the world of Anchor, specifically taking a look at the price action to see whether or not we are likely to see a good push to the upside in the very near future, or whether or not this sideways trade is going to continue. As we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, let's dive on down into the desktop and take a look at what is going on with these charts. Okay guys, so here we are with Anchor. This is of course just the weekly chart to really give us a bit of an overview as to where the structure currently sits and what we are looking to see happen next here with Anchor. So obviously we can see that things really started with these 5 impulsive waves back in March of 2020. Wave 1 peaked out up here. This was around kind of August time, right? So wave 1, when we went down into wave 2. Now wave 2 is the interesting point that I really want to focus in on this particular video. We'll get into that in a moment. Basically, by the end of 2020, things were getting ready for a nice surge to the upside with wave 3. Wave 3 kind of peaking out in March 2021. Okay, so basically 34,000% in gains have been made from March 2020 through to March 2021, a 378-day move. So pretty good gains were made. We went into this fourth wave correction. This is pretty much when Bitcoin fell down from 65k to 28k, and again they presented itself with an opportunity to dollar cost average a good position with Anchor ahead of where we are looking to go with this impulsive move of number 5 to the upside. Now what we're looking at right now is a very sideways trade, and as I said, with wave 2 being quite dragged out and quite long, obviously this is exactly what we are seeing here right now with wave 4 as we go into wave 5. Although it has been slower, it's definitely a slow coin to start with, and once things actually start heating up, we do get these nice runs to the upside, and we do have some interesting targets set out here for Anchor. So when we start to actually think about this bull run as a whole, it allows us to actually analyze waves 1, 2, 3, and 4, and gives a pretty good stab at where we think wave 5 is likely to go. Okay, so these are 5 impulsive moves to the upside, wave 5 being the final one before we go into a bear market. Now, on this weekly chart, we can use the downward trend that we had for wave 2, the upward trend for wave 3, and the downward trend for wave 4 to help us predict out where we are going to go with wave 5. Okay, this is what they call a trend-based fib extension. Okay, and basically when we take the low of 2, the high of 3, and the low of 4, so 2, 3, and 4, this actually using 3 anchor points, we can determine that wave 5 has the good opportunity to kind of push its way up to 95.7 cents. This is a really interesting price, a target just short of that $1 level here for Anchor. So again, this is something that we've been speculating on pretty much from the early days of the channel back in October 2020, and right the way through to the beginning of the new year. The Anchor has some interesting kind of use cases that actually make it really well positioned. Above and beyond that, we were speculating that it's relatively simple enough for Anchor to move up to $1. And actually, after the progress of this bull run, we can see it moving up just short of that target that we've been talking about for so long. So again, this is an interesting way to kind of analyze the charts and actually give us an idea of where the bull run is likely to end here for Anchor. And of course, it's important that we lock profits in on the way up. We don't want to necessarily be holding a bag, when we slip into the bear market. Of course, we do want to dollar cost average a good position during the bear market and obviously build up a solid position ahead of the next bull run. And obviously, it's the bear market that makes us that fantastic portfolio that's ready to pop to the upside, right? And during the bull run itself, it's just about managing expectations and of course managing your emotions. Now, nothing fundamentally has shifted and changed for the project of Anchor. If anything, it's actually just gaining more and more fantastic use case and utility. And I think that's going to really help push the price to the upside in the near future as well. So obviously, this weekly chart has very good structure. 5 impulsive waves moving to the upside. We have good trends that are indicating just short of $1. So I really wanted to kind of highlight, guys, that the weekly structure isn't anything to worry about. The sideways trading that you had down here in wave 2 is exactly what we're seeing down here in wave 4 right now before we get into this 5th wave. Anchor is always one of the last ones to kind of go, right? We had absolutely nuts here towards the end of 2020 into January, right? And that's really where things got going. And again, I think we're going to see the same thing here with Anchor towards the end of the year, beginning of next year. We're going to see that lift off right again as it peaks out towards this target. Now, again, this is the optimized target. This is the one based on the trends that we see within the charts and inside the data. But if we want to be conservative, that is where our daily chart comes in. On our daily chart, we've done is actually take a look at just 2 anchor points, the high of 3 and the low of 4. When we take into consideration those 2 levels, then actually we can see a different target being associated with it, right? We can see 77 cents and the 4.236 extension. So it's slightly more conservative than that of actually using the wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 trend lines. But instead just look at the pullback that we had when Bitcoin reached 65k down to 28k. Use that one trend to the downside to actually predict out that a 77 cent is possible. So if you're new to the space, these targets here at 32 cent, 49 cent, 66 cent, and 77 cent might be your best friend. These are the ones that are going to be conservative if you're not concerned about trying to get every last dime out of the bull run. Okay, but you want to lock profits in and learn from the experience of your very first bull run in the crypto space. So overall, this is a good set of targets to be associated with. Think about the 77 cent as a theoretical top for this bull run here in terms of where Anchor's currently going on the conservative model. When we take a look at this as well, we obviously have our buy zone down here scoped out quite nicely for the bottom area, another opportunity to buy up before moving on up nicely to the upside. Then we started to see this almost cup and handle pattern here, but we went too low with the handle. But basically a good structure. Obviously the month of September was the pullback month, and again obviously hit Anchor pretty hard, but again some fantastic opportunities have presented themselves on that journey to the upside as well. Resistance currently is being found at 11.2 cent, and this is an area that we've been monitoring just up here as well. And obviously there was a buy zone that we scoped out recently, and again that's working out quite nicely for us as we continue this growth to the upside overall. The stochastic RSI is moving up on this daily chart from an oversold area, moving up nicely, and again we are looking to kind of get some decent progress here as we're at 9.5 cent right now, and looking to keep on climbing. Okay, so obviously we can take a look at this just chart in a little bit more detail, but I don't want to really break down too much of these micro movements for this particular video. But obviously the main areas that we want to be focusing in on slightly longer term are going to be 15.2, 16.7, and 18.1. These are the 618, the 702, 786 of the daily chart here. And again, you know, what we're looking for is a good progress to the upside and taking out these price targets on that journey. So the 786 is going to be the main battle area. As you can see, this is an area of major consolidation previously. So again, you know, these 15.2 to 18.1 cent area is going to be a major battle for Anchor when it gets there. And again, once we are in those areas, I think once we pass them, we're going to be absolutely flying to the upside with this particular protocol. So overall, everything's looking pretty good from the structure of the weekly. And of course, this daily chart is looking pretty interesting as well as we go ahead and try to move up nicely now from the lower area of the 236 around 8.7 cent. Pushing up from there, pushing up into the 382 area of 11.2 on that journey. As you can see, we haven't really been up in this area all too much. So again, this is an area that we are going to be kind of consolidating around before potentially getting that massive break to the upside that's very much needed. Okay, so we are monitoring this situation with Anchor, but it's not unusual to have this sideways trade, very similar to what was going on with Wave 2 in the very early stages of the bull run at the end of 2020. At this point, I think it's important that we also jump over to the Evide.io dashboard and talk about what is going on with the underlying value of this particular cryptocurrency. So for those who do not know, Anchor uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to help us understand the underlying value of cryptocurrency. In the description down below, there is a link. It's completely free to use. Do go ahead and sign up, and you're going to learn a little bit more about the underlying data of your cryptocurrencies. In this case, we're taking a look at Anchor. We're an A3 rating overall. The highest rating we've ever seen Evide give is an A2 rating. So we know that we're right up there at the very top tier. And as we come down, we can see that the fear and greed index is B1, so relatively neutral, not fearful, not greedy. So it's an interesting place to be. We have a Sharpe ratio that's A2. So again, this is actually indicating that we might want exposure to Anchor. Specifically when it's undervalued. This is kind of the rewards outweighing the risks. Okay, this is what the Sharpe ratio is telling us. And again, obviously, we're not financial advisors. Evide's not giving you financial advice either. So, you know, use these tools to your advantage. And right now we have a neutral fear and greed index where some people might actually be bored and wanting to sell and go into something that might be moving faster, and in which case there's an opportunity to buy up that little bit of frustration and fear. As we come on down a little bit, we have profitability. Like I said, right, 34,000% in gains in 378 days is very, very significant. It's a hell of a lot more profits being driven from Anchor than there were from Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, you name it, VeChain, Harmony One. They all did really well, but Anchor actually performed better, right, from a percentage point of view. So although it can be frustrating when you get these sideways trades, but ultimately the performance of Anchor has been, fantastic to see, and it's been done our portfolio really, really well. Specifically when we exited Reef and went into Anchor, that kind of play was absolutely fantastic to see that we got, out of Reef just as it was coming out, going down, and then straight into Anchor just before it actually took off. The trade was fantastic to see, and again, it just shows you how powerful Anchor has been for the portfolio. It's done very, very well. So the profitability is right up there as an A1 rating. The moving averages, these are B2, so again, they could be better. They're very neutral in where they stand. 10-day, 50-day, 100-day, all sitting at 9 cents there. The AMI-HAD ratio in A2 indicating no problems with buying and selling of Anchor either. So everything on the charts here are actually looking relatively interesting, pretty good. The fear and greed index being neutral, moving averages could do with a bit of improvement, which I do think is likely to come. But again, we are just trading sideways, so you'd expect that. And everything else is actually looking very, very good. So when we jump back to the charts, and we can see that actually we're just pushed up past 9.9 cents. So some of our members will be happy to know that our trade actually just came in. But let's actually jump down into the hourly. Okay, because what's actually going on right now is one of the things that I've been talking about for a while is completing this this move, right? We can just see this moving up nicely now. And basically, we had these 5 impulsive moves to the upside. We had the buy zone scoped out at 8 cents, pushing up towards 10 cents. We just hit our sell zone of 9.9 cents, just south of our target of 10 cents. So that's good to see that happen. We hit that on the nose, the completing this trade here. But yeah, so basically what we're doing on this hourly is actually pushing up nicely. Now, once we get to this 10-cent zone, we are looking for an ABC correction, okay? So we are looking for now a correction to the downside, whether that should be something as steep as this or as shallow as this, I should say, not going down too low, before we actually then start to trigger another move to the upside. But Anchor's looking pretty good. Again, we are just monitoring these kind of moves. We had this one here, for example, really trigger us up nicely to the upside here. We've got the breakdown. This was actually a very frustrating breakdown, very impulsive move to the downside. Not an Elliott impulsive move, because this actually was invalidated when we had this move here. 4 cannot go higher than 1, so not that kind of impulsion move, but basically the liquidation event that was going on, really taking us down lower. But this actually triggered a good buy zone and a good push to the upside. Obviously, this is where we were trading with the members on the live stream, and again, this actually just now came in. Now we're looking for this ABC correction to the downside as we continue this growth just up here, getting into the overbought area. So we're not quite ready for the ABC, okay, but we will push up a little bit higher. We've got to go into our 10 cent. We're just wick above that, I think, taking us into overbought, and then we'll come back down in an ABC. So do expect some volatility here now, guys, on the way down as we kind of trickle in, and then we'll be pushing back up again in a really big way, I do feel. So I'm going to leave the video there, guys, but hopefully you have found this useful and informative. And if you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next.